Welcome to my big butt hike. In 2.5 miles, we will see Little Butt. In 3 miles, Big Butt. And in 6 miles, NC 197. While I was recording my last video showing the Pensacola and Highway 197 area, I noticed the Big Butt trailhead here, and so I'm back to check it out. At its highest point, Highway 197 turns from pavement to gravel. This is where you will find the Big Butt trailhead. We are starting on the north end at 4,251 feet, and then you are faced with an immediate climb of 1,538 feet up to an altitude of 5,789. This trail stretches between Highway 197 and the Blue Ridge Parkway, at which point it can connect to the Mountains to Sea Trail. I accidentally left my tracking app running after I got back and started driving, but you can see right there about in the middle, the 8.8, that's my middle point where I turned around, and then right about there is when I started driving. So no, I didn't hike 35 miles, it was more like around 16 miles. I have hiked over 30 miles in a day before, but not that day. Well, that's some bear poop, I reckon. I'm using the All Trails app for navigation and to track my route today, so I'll show some satellite views from that kind of coordinate with where I'm at in the video. It really feels like we're on the top of the world up here. This is not a camera effect. It really looks like this. Sometimes you would be able to see Mount Mitchell from here, but it's obscured by the clouds there on the right, and then those next peaks over are Mount Craig and Big Tom. That low area straight in front of us with the beautiful spring greens is Deep Gap, and the mountains are the Black Mountain Range. That highest peak that you can see right here is Silo Knob. We are looking in kind of a northeast direction. So the way that I am hiking this route today is kind of the most difficult way to see this area of scenery, but some easier ways that you could do this same hike. You could have someone pick you up on the parkway. You could start on Highway 197 like I did, and then have someone meet you on the parkway. That kind of faint looking route crossing my blue path there is the Blue Ridge Parkway. But you are hiking a lot more uphill that way. An easier way than that would be to start on the parkway end on the south side and then hike back to the Big Butt trailhead on 197. But of course, you would have to wait until the parkway was open again to do that. This is a satellite view of my drive home on Highway 197 near Pensacola, North Carolina. Haven't been on Highway 80 here in about 3 weeks, so that'll be our next adventure. You see the entrance to the parkway over there. It is still closed at this section, but open in some other ones. The Forest Service website has some good info on that. Now turning off of Highway 80 onto Sugar Cove Road. We've seen a lot of improvements on Highway 80 since the last time I was here. A lot of those areas where the big ballast stone was poured first and then filled in with gravel, A lot of those areas were just scary landslides the last time I came through, so many improvements. In this area in here, every time I've been through, I've seen work going on all day long in this area. Well, many tons of new gravel here on Sugar Cove Road. You can see how big the creek got by how it brought this mud up into this area. And then, wow, so that little creek there brought all of this mud back to where we were just riding and then all the way up here to the road. Unbelievable. Here's a sign for Mountain Stream Luxury Yurt and RV Rentals. Now turning back onto Highway 80, this whole area that we're riding by right now for like the last quarter mile, that was totally filled with debris piles that have been picked up since the last time I was here. I've seen some glimpses of blue sky up ahead. Hopefully we'll escape this rain soon. There's Lake Tahoma on the left. Now approaching the intersection of Highway 80 and Highway 70. It looks like the big flag at Camping World is not flying today. Wonder what's going on with that. This here is a new bridge since that one is structurally degraded. Nice painting there. And of course the big famous arrowhead at Old Fort. But yeah, the guy at Camping World is always getting into trouble with the local governments. It seems that they don't like his big flag, but I don't really know how it's hurting anything. We are now riding on NC Highway 9 near the edge of Buncombe County. This section of road here has been fixed for a couple of months, but for a while this was a detour through someone's yard. Now turning left onto Morgan Hill Road. See that white fence there? That kept going before for probably 200 or 300 yards down this way, but the river hopped over the road there and took out the fence. I'm gonna turn up Rush Creek here. I'm gonna help a buddy with a project. I know a couple of people that live up this road, and they've had to do a lot of work up to it since Hurricane Helene. You can see this new gravel here. So basically this whole section, probably 30 feet or so that this gravel is covering, was completely washed out. It washed the culvert away, and so they've got a new culvert and lots of new gravel here. New culverts and some rock work for this driveway here. There were several people that had property along the creek with culverts that just got totally washed away. Now on to Bat Cave. I am giving some good folks a motorcycle tour here today. I have not been up Highway 74 here through Fairview for a while, so let's check that out. An excellent artist who used to live at this place here on the right. The house is totally gone, but I see that he's got an extra storage crate there and a couple of flags out, so it looks like he is going to rebuild. We see the signs for Highway 9 and Highway 74. Go left for Hendersonville and Chimney Rock, which I've done in the past videos, but we'll go right towards Asheville today. Here's the Bat Cave Fire Department. Used to vote there back when I lived in Bat Cave. Well, Highway 74 here, headed in towards Asheville, is looking much better. A lot of it is just like a one-lane paved road now. Here's the warehouse outlets, and we're coming up on the Bear Wallow Provision Store. And coming up, that is a coffee shop and the Girton Community Center. Sometimes they'll have some yoga and stuff going on. This is the Girton Fire Department and Post Office, and if you take a left there up Bear Wallow Mountain Road, it takes you to a great hiking spot. Also, to our left here is the Strawberry Gap Trailhead parking. Both hikes lead to the Bear Wallow Mountaintop Cow Pasture. And here is the Eastern Continental Divide at 2,880 feet in elevation. There are horseback rides that take off from this spot here on our left, so if you come through here, watch out for horse crossing. And here coming up on the right, we see the sign for the Hickory Nut Gap Farm and Sugar Hollow Road. The Hickory Nut Gap Farm raises excellent meat products and vegetables. I love buying their ground beef. You can get it at a lot of the Ingles around. And also they have some cool live events and square dances and stuff like that. Now getting into Fairview, we're passing the Fairview grocery store, the Brewskis on the left, and the fire department on the right. And the Whistle Hop Brewery on the right. They will often have a food truck, and the Hilltop Ice Cream also on the right. We are going to stop in here and eat at Angelo's Family Restaurant. They are closed for indoor eating, but we're gonna get some food and hopefully they'll let us sit out on the deck here. We are back on NC Highway 9 here, gonna make our way back home to Burnsville. Thank you for watching. May God bless and peace be with you.